Hello, hello. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Coco Gonzalez, and today we are already in May. I cannot believe it that this year is going so fast. However, today we are going to talk about a topic that I think maybe you will be very interesting, and is being pioneer, create a legacy, freedom, and the fastest growing industry. And with who? Well, with a company that there are forefront of epigenetics, and there are a global leader in this field, and is rehabbing health and wellness. And to talk more about this industry that is booming like never before, and we want that we create conscience about this is the time, this is the right time and moment to maybe enjoy us with this company, just because what is acted about, and because that I have my friend and leader 89 Jerry Scribner, that he is one of the pioneers of this industry when Activz opened the market here in United States and Japan at the same time. So I just want to say hi and thank you, Jerry, to do this face live with me, and to educate the people in how Activz can be change their lives, how it's changing mine and yours at the same time.
Oh, thank you very much for having me here today. It's always a pleasure to do these Facebook Lives and just to work with you every day, Coco. It's a lot of fun. Um, I think it's like you said, we have something that that really we need to get the word out about more than what we do, what we have, right? And I think doing things like this Facebook Live is a great avenue for just getting the word out about what we have our hands on, and it's really it's fascinating, it's thrilling, and it's really exciting.
I know. And maybe one of the first questions that probably
Mhm.
people will want to know is why did you choose Actis? Um, and why you are, what if basically, what do you choose to be here with Actis?
It's interesting, and I hear this a lot. But when I was introduced to Activz, I wasn't really looking for an opportunity. I was actually kind of at a point where I was thinking I might need a little bit of break from the industry as a whole. And a friend of mine called me up, and we were just talking, and she said, hey, there's this company. And really, what first attracted me to the company was, the product that they were going to initially go live with. Of course, I understood it from a previous business venture, and I understood the importance of it to our health. But I think more than that was the leadership of Active, and the people that we have in our corporate executive leadership team, and the integrity they have in their business ethics. And we were just talking about some examples right before we got started on how it's amazing on how they treat people here, and how they take care of the distributors and everybody in a way that I've never seen at another company. So that was really what initially attracted me to Activz, was just the leadership primarily, and the integrity, because I knew who they were. I'd worked with them before, and I knew that whatever they did was going to be just phenomenal.
So that
Uh,
means, so
yep.
what do you think the Actis empower you to make a difference in your own life and the lives of others?
Yeah, what's really interesting is, first, there's a couple things, right? One is what you mentioned a little bit ago is epigenetics. We have this science that's it's been around for a while. I think the term epigenetics has been around for quite some time, but it's just only been in the last few years that science medicine has really started to understand the power of what epigenetics is, and what they can do with it. And if you look at just what's happened in the last 5 to 10 years, it's pretty phenomenal, on where they're using the science of epigenetics to look at cures for cancer, to look at cures for neurological disorders or autoimmune PTSD, things like that. And and to think that we are at the forefront as a company where we can bring a product to somebody or products to somebody that can help in such a phenomenal, just really fundamental way. And on top of that, I'll say that the compensation plan here at Activz is the best in the market.
So you
There- Mhm.
so that meaning that you think the Activz is a life changing solution, that is something that really the world desperately needed.
Absolutely. I think it's, if you look at the way that, with what we have, again, the epigenetics products, but if you look at the way that the company is structured, it's really structured to bring a solution to people, to the everyday person, to the average person, right? Um, I heard Ryan Thompson, our president, say that Activz, we don't buy talent. This company was built on, the everyday average person coming here and organically putting together and grow a business. And those everyday average people are school teachers, are people that, pushed a cart down the street and sold goods from their cart. They're single moms. They're human resources directors. None of these people that are our top leaders came to Activz as a top leader from another company. And what that just tells me is, that means, if, that proves over and over again that Activz is a solution for anybody.
Yeah,
You know,
and I'm going to make a pause because you say, you are seeing how this company, we are no all experts and this type of business that is network marketing. However, the system or the duplication system has been proved that everybody is able to do it is they follow the system that is already established by the company and
Mhm.
the success guide that everybody reads and learn about it. But
Mhm.
also, something that amazes me is that also this technology and science and epigenetics is bringing a lot of doctors, experts in
Mhm.
the area that I never saw before, especially in a world there is so many competitions out there. I feel that all those experts and science, they really notice the difference and what epigenetics brings to the world.
Yeah, I think one of the things it's something I thought of right before the call is, right, you see a lot of companies that will jump on the bandwagon and bring to market what I call fad products. So what's the latest rage, right? What's the latest thing that, that's hot on the market, right? And that gives you some success for a certain amount of time, and then it goes, right? And this is something that, and I think this is why it's attracting so many people, because it's not, the products that we have at Activz are not single point solutions for anything. They're not addressing a specific one point thing, right? They're very fundamental. And I think that's what's really attractive to a lot of, very, very respected medical people. We have some of the top neurological surgeons in the world that are involved with Activz. We have, some very, network market or Nobel Peace Prize nominees we have, that are very interested in what we're doing here and helping us develop things to help others. But yeah, I think that's the big interest for a lot of medical professionals, is we're not necessarily looking at single point solutions. We're doing things that address, fundamental issues that we have.
Yes. So what is what does it truly means to lead a movement with actives base, and what do you just say?
Um, wow, that's a good question. I think leading a movement, I think for me, it's exciting. It's and for me, if I look back over my career, as what I did professionally, um, where I spent the most of my time and where I was enjoyed my work the most is when I got to help people. Um, why? And that's what I get to do at Active. Making a paycheck is a result of being able to help people, right? Um, but being part of the mission that we're on here at Actives is so powerful, because through the avenue of network marketing, through the products that we have a very far reach. We're now very recently expanding into more countries. Some new countries we have in Asia. The Philippines is just getting started. I mean, just in the last few weeks, we've kind of had the final pieces put into place. Um, and again, going back to epigenetics, it's amazing that with what we have, I always tell people it always amazes me as long as I've done this. It always amazes me that not only how well they work, but how fast they work. And when you have a product that works the way it does, as fast as it does, people can feel results. And it changes lives. It changes lives very dramatically, very quickly for a lot of people. And it's just very exciting to be part of that movement.
And then you mentioned something very, because I'm hearing your answer. You mentioned that you are so excited because the powerful mission that we have here, and ACT is bringing something unique to the market, or a solution to a society that is so sick financially and physically. And now here we had an opportunity to deal and resolve both at the same time. You mentioned something very interesting, that now through the business, other countries that are opening, like the Philippines, and you are part in this process. And I'm going to say congratulations to you and your team, Nova, probably that she's watching us. She's a great leader. But so with this, because it's your team that you are creating this, how can Activz help you build a legacy that is transforming your life and other people's life? In this case, now in the Filipinas lives, Nova and all her team that are start growing. They're very successful. It's not been easy, but they are taking like a champions.
Well, and that's what we've been saying all along, right? That's what leaders do, right? Leaders show up first, and they figure out the things that need to be figured out, so the people coming after don't have to. So how does it help us build a legacy? From the financial perspective, if you look at where the opportunity with Activz in the epigenetics market right now, and I mean right now, is phenomenal, right? And there's a few reasons, right? Is epigenetics from the science medical world has become much, much better known. It's being used, they're studying epigenetics to try to understand how it can treat very specific diseases and conditions. And if you know that from a business perspective, right, they say that in what real estate, location, location, location. And in business, we've all heard this, right? In business, it's timing, 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 right? And if you look at where the market of epigenetics is right now, right, in the last couple years, I think starting around 2010, the epigenetics market was like a $1 billion a year market. It took 10 years to go from $1 billion to $2 billion a year. So in 2020, epigenetics was a $22 billion a year market.
Wow.
In 2024, it was 14. So it took 10 years to go from 1 to 2, and it took 4 years to go from 2 to 14. This year, that market is expected to be about $17 billion. So it's going to grow more in 1 year than it did in the first 10. Now, if I look forward, and this market is expected in the next 7 years or so to be about a $67 billion a year market. So that means they're expecting this market of epigenetics to grow about $40 billion in the next 7 years. So if you know that, and you know that Activz is the only company on the planet that offers natural solutions, natural epigenetic solutions. There's other companies that have products that have epigenetics somewhere in the description. Activz is the only company that's marketing epigenetics products.
Right. Yeah.
Only other companies that are doing that are pharmaceuticals, right? So to build the legacy, to answer the question, it's timing. If you're at the beginning of a market with a company that is the only company in the position we are in, then over the next 5, 3, 7 years, you get involved, you have the vision to see what you can do, you're going to create something that's going to last for generations.
And um, talking, our President Ryan
Mhm.
Thompson, he is so smart because he has so much experience in this type of business, 35 years and this type of business. He say is we are able as distributors just to reach the 1% of all the amount that you just mentioned about. If we are reaching just the 1% of society in the world of that amount, well, I don't have my calculator, but I think we did it in the past. I can remember.
400 million
Wow.
growth in the next 5 to 7 years.
Yes.
Right.
Is that a legacy of retirement? I
I could
think
probably live on that. Yeah.
yes, me too, and my kids and my grandkids and my great great grandkids can
Hmm.
live with that.
Yep.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So,
And something else, sorry, and something else really quick is when I go back and I think about when I joined Activz in 2018, right? To think that we have the leadership that had the foresight to begin a business in a market before the market started to become a household word. That is one of the reasons I have to say I didn't know it at the time, but I have to say that is one of the reasons that I joined Activz because that's the way our leadership is.
right,
You know,
right,
that they were sitting there 20, 2015, 20, right, going, hey, there's a thing here we can do, right? And they had
right,
the foresight to see that this was coming, and
right.
that's positioned anybody that gets involved. That's positioned everyone in this company in a place that is it does not come along, very often, if more than once in a lifetime.
It's true, and
Yeah.
the proof is the Philippines right now. They when they started it, how long ago they started it?
Oh, we just started really. I mean,
A few
we first
months.
started talking with them in November, December, but things really didn't get. But we had, like I said, we had to work through some logistic stuff up front. But we have some very, very strong leadership in the Philippines. We have some very, I mean, and more showing up every day. And it's now that we have some things, the pieces in place that we need, that whole country and really region for those leaders, whether you're in Japan, whether you're in
Mexico,
Singapore, Taiwan, Mexico, the U.S., it's not going to slow down.
right?
I think I joined, like I said, I joined Activz in 2018. I think today, and you hear this all the time, but if you remember the some of the statistics I just mentioned,
Yes,
for you and me, Coco, who joined back then, right? Today is a better opportunity
right,
because the pieces are in place, the systems have been improved, the success of people have been improved, the products have been improved, the science is there, and now we have the growth in the market.
right. That's a
And
good thing to be the. It's a good thing to be the pioneers, but
mhm,
we experience all that, and now we are with our own experience, we are able to share from our own.
absolutely, we
Yes,
get to stand up on a stage someday and say, "I was there before we had a compensation plan."
and yeah, and that one is you. You did. You are there before the compensation plan was established.
Right.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, and that will be an amazing story to hear. And
Mhm.
also, all the time that I hear you with that story, amaze me about how you started it, and for example, how Mexico started it with
Mhm.
only one supplement, Genomics, and other
Right.
countries, Peru, the same thing. And now it's been developing with a lot of success, and the
Mhm.
system is being showing up that is duplicatable and it is working. And something that our company has, the another companies doesn't offer, is the omni-channel model. And I think it's a new way to change lives globally.
Mhm.
What can you talk to me about this system to be omni-channel?
To me, it's again, I think it's the foresight of the leadership. right? That they put together a marketing system that not only pays traditionally through, um, but it also, um, pays through, I'll say, less traditional paths, avenues in this industry, right?
Right.
We went out to some very large online marketing places and partnered with them. I know a lot of companies struggle with products being sold on other sites, like Amazon, like eBay, like I can't remember. There's one in Mexico, and I don't remember the name. That's kind of the Amazon equivalent, right? And a lot of companies struggle with products being marketed there, right? But our leadership went out to those companies and partnered with those companies to take advantage of the platform and then use that to help pay back into the compensation plan for us, right? So it does a couple things. I mean, it rewards us for work that the company's doing. I mean, we have to work to a certain point to take advantage of that, but we're actually getting rewarded for the marketing effort of the company. It's also helping expose us as a company and our product line to a global, audience. And so that just helps us as distributors in this company, get the word out even more. It's really about getting the tools. It's really about being provided the tools that really help start this movement getting forward.
And that was my question. I was going to ask that. So, what are the tools, the science, and the support the Activz is giving us, to all of us, to share with a lot of confidence
Right.
that we are offering something unique in the market and in the world?
I think beyond that, if you just look at, a lot of times people want to see the science. It's interesting, right? People can go to the store and buy something off the shelf and take it without question. But as soon as you ask them to take a look at what you're doing, they need to see the science. But okay, um, yeah, it is what it is. But
Right.
and it's good, right? Because I think that knowing that what we have is backed by very strong science. If there's resources out there, platforms that we use that are not, uh, they're independent of Activz, right? To validate what we do. We have a lot of studies that are going on our products, on some pretty amazing leaders in different parts of medicine or research. I think there's a pretty large study that's going on around Parkinson's disease, as well as some Alzheimer's, and looking at the people that are engaging there. And really, what that is it's giving us tools to, of course, grow, the business that we're trying to grow. It also gives us the tools to help people.
Right.
Right. A lot of people have very specific questions when we talk to them, so it gives us some tools to help people. And it also helps. Again, it's just another avenue that we have some very respectable leaders in their industry, whether it's medicine, research, science, that are also talking to other medical professionals. They're talking to other researchers about
Right.
what they're doing, and that's really exciting.
So that means that for everything that you just say, you think that today is the moment to rise and make a difference with Activz then?
Oh, without a doubt. I like I said earlier, I think like you said, being a pioneer is exciting, but as we relearned in the Philippines, it comes with its challenges. I mean, being a pioneer a lot of times doesn't mean you have all the tools, doesn't mean you have the things that you need to do what you're trying to do as easily as what comes later. And I think now we're in a place that, the tools that we have, the support that we have, um, and again, I'll say, I'm an engineer by trade, and so numbers and statistics excite me. Right?
Yeah,
um,
and I am no good with numbers. I mean, the
so you
science exactly.
what I'm sitting here looking at, knowing what our products do, knowing what they can do for people, that they're a solution for so many people, right? Knowing that the compensation plan we have is just another solution for so many people, right? And I one of the things I was going to mention earlier about the compensation plan, going back to Ryan Thompson, the president of Activz, I heard him make a comment in a meeting one time. If you look at when we talk about, you know, the average person being able to be successful here, right?
Right.
The way that they designed our compensation plan was for the average person to be successful.
Right.
And one of the things that Ryan mentioned was when people at Activz get to a certain rank, a mid rank, not a really high level, the compensation plan is good enough at that point that our retention rate is 90 to 95%.
Yes, it's true.
Right? That means that when you get to those middle ranks, the compensation is paying, excuse me, the compensation plan is paying well enough that people want to stay.
Right.
Right. And that's very important, because people, you know, if you look at the percentage of people that ultimately get to the top of a company, it's a very small percentage. And so a
Right.
lot of people quit along the way at most companies because they're not being compensated well. And that's not true at Activz. That's different. Right?
Is it called to say that they put a lot of locks for them to jump in the highest position, and something very unique and humble about this compensation of Actis really doesn't put us those locks or what
Right.
is the work that we that doesn't allow us to be ranking faster. We
Right.
don't have that here.
And we don't have those restrictions, right? Yeah. And
Those
I think even another thing is, if you look at how much we pay out as a percentage, we pay out, you know, as a dollar amount, of course, at the higher ranks, you're getting paid more. But as a percentage, we're paying out more in the middle,
Yeah, I think Actis
which is
pays
great, which is great.
pay 50, 54 for
Yeah,
dollar.
yeah,
Right?
54, 56%.
Yeah, and I think that's also something unique that you didn't see in other
Yeah,
companies.
yeah. Most of them are what they call, what is it, runaway plans.
Yes,
But once you get to the top, that's where you start making the money. And that's not true here.
yes, and something very also very unique about Actis is like somebody like maybe I can start today,
Mhm.
and I put the work that needs to be done here, because so you know it's a work when you start as any everything that you start your own business, your own career, everything is gonna need work and effort, right? But if I put an effort of 1 or 2 years, I can rank faster, and even I can go and reach out your rank. uh,
Mhm.
and it's something very also very flexible
Yeah,
about the compensation plan that I feel that is also very attractive and different from other compensation plans that are out there.
absolutely. Absolutely.
So how can Actis help you to turn your passion into a purpose then?
Oh, good question. So my passion, like I said earlier, if I look back over my career, um, almost every place in my career where I've spent the most time and enjoyed my time doing whatever job that was or role that was at the time is where I have been helping others. In my technical career, I've been in tech support. That just means I had to jump on airplanes a lot and be away from my family. Um, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the work because I was getting to help people, or I did a lot of training, and so I enjoyed that part. And really, what Activz allows me to do is take that passion of helping people and put it into a lot more people. Right? Because, you know, and that's the true about this industry as a whole, right? When you start bringing those teams together, you're not just impacting one or two or three people, right? You start impacting one or two or 300 or 1,000 people, right? As that passion grows, as that vision grows, right? Um, so turning that into a purpose is very easy for me. You know, the just, you know, one, it's of course, you know, benefiting me and my family through making a legacy business that is going to allow me to retire, you know, in the
Right,
next couple of years. It's also going to allow me to, you know, live the life that I want with the people that I want when I want, you know, vacations, traveling.
right,
Those are the things I want to do. And you know, I when I say traveling, I mean going to other places to help people grow active.
right. The Philippines pretty soon.
like in the Philippines. I actually spoke with Ryan and David very early on about, one of the things I would very seriously like to do is when Activz looks at another country, if when I retire, move to that country. And my kids are grown up now; they can. So my wife and I have talked about moving to a country for like a year and
Oh,
starting Activz in a country and then going somewhere else for like a year and starting it there. And I think that would be a lot of fun. And that would be, I mean, that would just help build the momentum so much faster and help allow us as a company, as an individual, to help so many more people. That would be awesome. That
so
would be
then I feel that you already answered this, but I want more define that. What kind of world do you want to help build, and how does Acti support that vision? I know that you already kind of answered it, but maybe a little more defined. How is the Actis is becoming your path?
you know, I think, when I look around it's, and I'm going to answer this, I think, a little bit differently, but when I look around, right, and I look at a lot of the friends of mine, and I look at a lot of people that I work with that they're the same age, and I see the health issues that they're dealing with, and I see the money issues that they're dealing with, right?
Right.
Knowing that there's a solution, right? Knowing that there's something that can help so many people. Um, I mean, you have a medical background. When you
Right.
look around, like the U.S., just the U.S. right now, the U.S., the health condition of the average person in the U.S. is horrible,
Yes.
right? I mean, it's terrible now, just through diet, through for a lot of different reasons. It's just the health of the average person is terrible. And to have the ability to influence that, to have the ability to change that in a way that is just very fundamental and foundational in people's lives. Um, so part of where do I see kind of in the world is just a healthier place, whether it's healthier in your body,
Right.
healthier in your wallet, your bank account,
Right.
right? Offering people options, right? I think that today's world is very different than, you know, from a job market perspective, today's world is very different than when you and I started working, right? The generation today, they want to make money, but they want to have a purpose. They want to help people, right? They want to have a passion, and I think that's something that we can offer
So you
here at.
think so how you think Actis is empowering everyday people to become a global change maker then?
Yeah, I'll go back to if you look at the way Activz came together, and what Ryan Thompson said, right? We didn't start Activz. We don't buy talent. Activz was grown organically
Right.
by. They're not average people by any means. So I don't like to use the word average when I talk about our leadership, right?
Right.
But they're normal people. I mean, they're not. They didn't come here with a huge network marketing business. They came here as a normal average. Again, I don't like the word average for them, but they just came here as a normal person with a
Yeah.
passion, with a vision, and with a good work ethic. And they built, in, I would say, a short period of time, life-changing businesses, not only for themselves, but for thousands and thousands of people. And I think we can do that. I know we can do that because it's been done here many times, right?
Right.
Um, so I think we have that. We can offer that to more people. So just letting people know that here at Activz, it doesn't take 20 years of network marketing experience and a team of 10,000 to be successful. Just join us, get started, and we have proven over and over again that people with a vision, a passion, and a work ethic can change their life and change many, many other people's lives.
And I know that you are one of the pioneers here
Mhm.
in the company. Even we mentioned that you started with was no any compensation plan. It was only one product and was
Right.
X. You
Uh-huh.
didn't know the name yet. I remember that story that are telling us about the product X. The way that you guys try it but didn't know the name. and you guys start feeling amazing, and
Mhm.
everybody wanted to know what was it, right? And it was what, Ultimate, or what was it?
The
Max?
one we started with was Link. Link
Link.
was our first product. Yep.
Right. Okay, so then what about, you can say, on all those years that you started with Activz, how for you taking action affect you in a good way to be in the position that you are now?
Um, I, sometimes, like I said, in the beginning, I was in a position where I was not necessarily looking for an opportunity,
Okay.
but I knew that Actives was the place to be with the leadership, with what we, even with what we had at the time. I knew it was the right place to be. Um, and then taking action is just, really what it comes down to is just daily consistency of deciding what you want, deciding when you want it. Um, I used a term, and I say that Ryan Thompson took the term for me, but we'll talk to Ryan about that later. But I call it reverse engineering, and just taking, you have your vision, you have your what do I want, when do I want it, why do I want it is very important. And then backing that up or reverse engineering that to daily activity and just doing whatever you can do every day. And I'll be honest, when I'm not saying this because I'm perfect at daily consistent activity. I'm saying this because I've got a lot of experience at being consistent and not being consistent, and I'm telling you which one works, right? And when you're consistent with your activity, when you're consistent with your action, it not only changes your business, it changes your attitude, it changes you mentally, right? When I'm busy, when I'm active, when I'm consistently doing the things that need to be done, when I'm consistently engaged with the people I need to be engaged with, like you, like our leadership, like
Sure.
Tanya, Nova, right? Those are the people I need to be around,
Right.
right? And those are the people that are going to encourage you. Those are the people that are going to pick you up when you trip. Those are the people that are going to tell you to go back to work when you start, right? And we all
Here.
need that. Yeah, right. Here, wipe it on my sleeve. Now go back to work, right? It's so that action is important, and it's not only important to achieve the goals that you want to achieve, but it's important to keep you mentally and emotionally even in the right place, right? Because when you stop doing it, and I had a mentor of mine years ago say, you know, that when you're doing the things that you should be doing,
Yes.
you feel it. Your spirit is aligned with the things that you should be doing to take you to the place you should be going. You
Right.
feel it in your spirit, right? And when you stop doing those actions, what happens? Oh, I should have made a phone call today. Oh, and you start beating yourself up because you know that you're not doing the things. And when you start them again, you feel better, right? And
Right.
sometimes the action has to come before the feeling,
Right. So then,
right?
say is, for what you just say, what
Uh,
was the thing you feel you grow the most, and all the experiences that you have been having, good ones and bad ones, more good ones than bad, the behavior, the things that when you say, I know that I needed to do the cal, but I didn't, this cal, but I didn't do it. What do you think are the biggest areas that you feel you are being changing for good? Because I think we all change for good.
oh, absolutely. I had another mentor of mine years ago tell me that network marketing is a personal growth program with a compensation plan. And that is very, very true, right? But where have I grown the most? I, for myself, I would say I have grown the most in my own, I'm going to say true self confidence,
Mm.
true self esteem.
Yes.
I was really good for a long time about putting on a front. And I think when you're in a corporate America setting, putting on that front gets you by.
Right.
you can become successful with that front. In this industry, that's not true. And what I mean about self-confidence, maybe that's not the right, maybe it's belief.
Yeah.
Belief that I can do something. And I actually had to reach a point where doubting myself so much, and I kept not achieving my goal, kept not achieving my goal, kept not achieving my goal. And this is part of, a few years ago, I had to step back and redo my why. And I had to, at that point, say, you know what? I'm going to do this for me.
Right.
In one reason, in one way. I get to help a lot of people. But part of my why is I'm going to do something for me, and I'm going to prove that I'm the kind of person that can do this.
Right.
And it may sound a little selfish to some people, but again, I'm doing this through what my passion is helping others, right? But it's kind of proving to myself that I have what it takes to do this. I have what it takes. So that's probably the biggest place that I've changed. That, and I'll go back to consistency.
Consistency.
It's the act for the most top part of this business. What you do today will pay off, meaning the people I talk to today will make a decision sometime down the road, whether it's a week, a month, 90 days, right? Some people say this is a business of 90 days, right?
Right.
So, so to be consistent in that effort is very important, because it's not necessarily a business of immediate satisfaction. And that's what we're used to from a corporate work environment. So that's the other thing that I've really had to. I still fail at it. But you know what? It's knowing that it works. It's knowing when you are not doing the things that need to be done, you know what they are, and you know how to get back on track.
Right.
And you know the people that are going to hold you accountable, right? So for me, the two probably biggest areas of growth have been the consistency in the business and the belief in myself that I can do it.
Right. Yes. Yeah. And I am a witness of that. You are an amazing person, amazing man, friend, partnership. Your leadership is being shown, and I appreciate to be part of that and learn more about that. And it's we are so grateful to be here in this type of business or with this company, because leaders like you and the other ones make us to want to be and look not like you or the other ones, but kind of to express ourselves and to be a little bit better, like you guys are already showing us the path and the things that we need to do and how to look like, right, and to create a better version of ourselves.
Yep.
And this is so very, very unique. So then how you think then that this who you think that is the people the most needs in this moment to hear about us, about this company?
Wow. I mean, the easy answer is everybody. That's the easy answer. For me, I think what it comes down to is we can talk to everybody about this. There's the people that want to make a change. There's the people that need to make a change.
Right.
Right. Not everybody that needs to make a change wants to make a change. Right. So I think, to me, talking to the people, finding the people that really want to change their life for the better, whether it's financially, health, both, those are the people to really reach. Those are the people to really try to get the word out, so that they know that there's something out there that they can make a difference.
You think all the people is ready for doing this?
Is everybody ready?
Because I see people enjoying, and then, oh no, I cannot do that, or they didn't try it and they quit.
I think a lot of it is one of the things I try to do and be very clear of is, I think as a sponsor to somebody in this industry, in the company, It's one of my jobs to set very clear expectations.
Right.
And sometimes those can be uncomfortable conversations.
Right.
Um, but I think setting very clear and realistic
Expectation.
expectations. I think too often in this industry we overhype, or it's overhyped that this is a quick get rich quick scheme. And I would tell people that if anybody tells you it's get rich quick, get away from them.
Right.
I would say that it's a get rich quicker than typical, corporate America. And I think too often in this industry, some of those things are overhyped or they're oversold. And
Right.
so it sets a wrong expectation. And then somebody joins a company, and they're not a millionaire in 6 months. Or they join a company and they find out they actually have to talk to people and they don't like people. Right. And well, that's a problem, right? But yeah, I think that I think part of it is just setting very clear expectations and very
Expectation.
realistic expectations.
Right. Very realistic expectations.
Mhm.
And then also the part of taking action
Mhm.
and be humble to learn.
Be
And
humble to learn and understand this is learning a new thing.
yeah, it's learning a new thing.
It's we can apply the skills and the things that we've learned in our life before, but this is a very new skill to learn for most people,
Right.
and
Because
that it
it
takes time.
takes time because now you are dealing with people, emotions, your own emotions, their emotions,
Right?
and stuff,
And opinions and
opinions,
yep.
mentalities, different backgrounds.
Right. And the other thing I would say, and I was just talking to one of our other leaders a little bit earlier about this, was, in a lot of companies like Activz, there's a lot of science there. There's a lot of things, and it's very easy to get lost or let that consume you, um, and hold you back from taking action. Right. And I think what's very important for people to understand is that when you come into someplace like Activz, is you don't need to be the expert. You
Right.
don't have to have the answers. You know the people that do. You have the
Right.
tools that can help give the answers to the person, right? And I think a lot of times people feel like they have to have all the answers because, and again, corporate America, that's what we have to do, right? That's where we're kind of put in that position where you're expected to know all the answers. And here it's like, somebody asks a question, it's a very easy, I don't know. And it's okay to say I don't know. But there's this friend of mine, Coco, who does. Why don't I let you talk to her?
Right.
Right. And that does a couple things. One, you learn as Coco is talking to me, right? But also it's telling that person that you're talking to that, hey, you don't have to have all the answers when you get started. Right. And it takes a lot of that pressure off and a lot of that expectation.
Right.
That
Right.
person.
Right. And yeah, and just to make the people feel like you are in a safe place,
Mhm.
and we are gonna take you to we are gonna guide you
Right.
like 2 or 3 months process, so you're able to grab and learn the
Right.
skills and how to invite, how to
Mhm.
present, how to close, how to follow up with them, where are the tools, the information that you need to provide. If you
Mhm.
don't have it, okay, let's go ask for the help of a sponsor. If the sponsor
Right.
doesn't know, let's go higher. And to know that this higher that is corporate is giving us all the tools, and they are 100% willing to help us with
Mhm.
incredible support that I never saw in another
Right.
company that is around this industry. And I think you are proof of that support, and me too personally.
Absolutely. Both of it. Yeah. And the nice thing is during that 2 or 3 month period where you're learning, you're still building your business.
Oh
That's how
yes,
you learn. You
right,
don't have to you don't have to wait the 2 to 3 months and then get started. And then,
right.
you're building your business and making money
Yeah,
while
because
you're
a lot of
learning,
people have procrastination doing that. I'm learning, but I'm not doing that. And no,
right?
here,
And you get stuck in this cycle where you're always getting ready to get ready.
and I'm
I
not
almost
ready. I need to know
right. I
more.
almost have the perfect daily planner. I almost have the perfect video. I almost have the perfect, and then you never actually do anything with it.
Right. 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 Yes. So for some people that is hearing us today, they feel that is. I hope there is a lot. What do you will say to them just for closing thoughts about why they need to enjoy our company leading cutting edge in epigenetics with incredible, unique compensation plan that is being shown and proved that is bringing incredible, I would say, income to the masses.
I would say that if you're looking for something um, from a health perspective, you want to live a better lifestyle, you want to live a healthier life, you want to do something about something that you're dealing with. Um, Activz has products like no other company. They're not single point solutions. They're not, um, they're not fad products. They're not Me Too products. These are products that don't treat. These are products that will, targeting epigenetics, help us really help with the very fundamental things that we deal with in our health, in our
Right.
bodies, right? They're getting us to back our bodies back to where they should be, and then allow the body to heal itself. From a business perspective, I'll go back to where we are in the market of epigenetics. Activz is the only company in the world right now that offers natural epigenetic solutions in a market that's going to double to triple in the next 5 to 7 years. So 17 to $67 billion. That's the expected growth in this market. So if you're thinking about this from a business perspective, if it's just there, you will not find a company that's better placed in a market for the amount of growth that we're expected to have.
Right.
And so from that perspective, the compensation plan is proved to be the best in the market, in the industry. The corporate, I cannot tell you enough that we have the best corporate team on the planet. Again, Nova and I, or Coco and I were talking right before the call about it. Just continues to amaze us how much they care for the person that is doing what Coco and I are doing every day, and how much effort they put in to take care of us and to support us. You won't find a better corporate team, right? So whatever you're looking at, talk to the person that told you about this Facebook Live. If nobody talked to you, reach out to me, reach out to Coco through social media, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. You can find us there. But do something today. Reach out to somebody today. Get questions answered. There's no pressure. There's no expectation. But get your questions answered. And, we will do what we can to help you. But do something today, because the one thing that's not going to wait is the opportunity.
Right.
It's going to move forward. But do it today. Get on board with us, and let's go do this. It's going to be a lot of fun.
I remember Ryan say, if you don't do it, the company is not being affected if you don't do it, because we still keep growing. So the company is not gonna miss us. We're gonna miss that opportunity. We're gonna miss not jumping into it.
That reminds me of something that somebody, every once in a while, you'll have somebody say, well, I don't believe in this kind of stuff. Right. And my answer to that is similar to Ryan's. It's like, well, fortunately, whether it works doesn't depend on whether you believe in it. Right. So, but yeah, I mean, 100%, the company's going to continue to grow. The opportunity is the only thing that's going to get smaller over time.
Right.
Right. So, there's so much opportunity at Activz right now, whether you're looking in the US or you're looking in other places. The US for us, as long as we've been around, is still a very, very new market.
Right.
Right. So it's a huge opportunity right here in the US to grow.
Right.
And,
well, I'm just going to say thank you, Jerry, so much for an incredible chat and talk that you just gave us with so much honesty, humbleness, information. based on your experience doing this with the company from the beginning, like we mentioned before.
Hmm.
So I want to say thank you so much for that. And also to the audience that they're watching and looking us, I would say, are you ready to join this movement that is changing lives? And it's starting not only with us, but maybe with your own life, because the world needs more people like you, like Jerry, like me, like the others leaders that we are already doing here in Activz, to change and make rise together and really making a huge, huge difference in the world, in the industry of wellness, and also in financially, right?
Absolutely.
All
And I
right.
want
Well,
to say thank you very much, Coco. it's, every day working at Actives with leaders like you that have your kindness, your warmth, your integrity. It's amazing. And it's one of those things that really makes this a pleasure.
oh yeah, I'm so blessed to be with all of you. I'm very blessed to be with the company. I believe very strong and highly that God put these people, this supplement, the science, all of us together for a great, great reason, that is to make an impact into the world with bringing epigenetics and financial uh, to this world that really needs it.
Absolutely.
We all need it.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you so much to everybody. Jerry mentioned where you guys can find, go back with the person in bio, and you can find us in social media. And we wish you a very nice weekend. And we see you next time again pretty soon.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Mhm.